Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased that you can join us. In fact, I'm really pleased that we're doing our first seminar on our first chosen topic of our strategy, which is our international growth strategy. I'm pleased that this afternoon we're joined by a number of members of our board. We've got David Smith, our CFO, who will answer all the questions and will be in support. Sorry, David. And we've also got our chairman, Mark, who will say a few words at the end and is also hosting our drinks this afternoon after the presentations. So following the launch of our strategy to grow the company in 2016, we have reversed 5 years of decline and now delivered 2 years of growth. Looking forward, as you will have heard before, our growth potential is very significant, and my focus is on continuing to grow the company and implementing our strategy. So this afternoon, the main subject that we will be discussing is our international businesses, our strategy, and the key markets where we see growth opportunities. And in future, depending on your feedback on this event, we intend to run other seminars on other subjects from our strategy. So following a short introduction from myself, we will then go through the overall international strategy and progress that we've made in the last 2 years. We'll look specifically at the business in Australia, and then followed specifically by the business in North America, and then we'll draw together some conclusions at the end of the presentation. Each of the sections we intend to be about half an hour, and after each section we will stop and take questions at that point, so break up the format of the seminar. So, as a reminder, this is the overall vision-based strategy that I launched to drive growth in the business in 2016. 3 primary levers for our growth. First of all, leading and modernising test and evaluation here in the UK. Secondly, building an international company. And thirdly, innovating for our customers' advantage. As you can see, our international component of our strategy is central to the overall group strategy. And the key tenets of the international growth plan are developing our home countries, creating new home countries, and exporting. And that is the focus of today. Before we talk about our international growth, I want to come back to the UK, because the UK is a core component of the company, but it is also the platform by which we are driving our international strategy. At the heart of the business is our test and evaluation activity through the long-term partnering agreement known as the LTPA with the UK Ministry of Defence. This is our single largest contract that runs through to 2028 and today contributes approximately £300 million per annum of revenue to our group. Under the LTPA, we deliver a wide range of critical skills and facilities that are essential to the generation and assurance of defence and security capability. For example, reducing the noise level of Royal Navy submarines before each and every deployment to ensure that they don't get detected by our adversaries. These are critical skills and capabilities for the UK, but they also attract international customers to our facilities. And recent customers that have used the LTPA facilities include the United States, France, South Korea, Taiwan, and Turkey. The investment, therefore, that we're making in the LTPA is not only enabling growth in the UK market share, but it is also attracting more customers into the UK from overseas to use our facilities. And it also enables us to work with those customers in their territories to help them develop their own indigenous test and evaluation capability. An example of where we've enhanced the capability here in the UK and brought in further international business comes from our recent investment in test aircrew training. And as a result of that, we've been able to secure our first multi-year international contracts to secure business from both Holland and Switzerland. So fundamental to our growth is expanding into our addressable market. And as you will have heard before, we see our overall addressable market being more than £8 billion per annum. This market is defined by our core offerings and our selected target markets. The graphic illustrates the size of the market and our market share. Dark blue illustrates where we have significant market share, and the purple shows where we have significant market potential. The international strategy, as I've said, builds on our position of strength as the UK's leading provider of research, development and test and evaluation. And there are three main levers to our international growth. The first lever is expanding into the international RDT&E footprint, focusing on the home countries and prioritised exports. We've already had success, as we will hear, in Australia, and we're also pursuing various opportunities aimed at building our reputation, ultimately to be a global leader in test and evaluation. The second lever is expanding into international training, where we are leveraging our UK credentials to build in-country capability where appropriate with key partners. And finally, exploiting our distinctive services and products that form part of our unique value proposition, such as you'll hear, unmanned systems, or things that we have grown from our research where we have differentiated, disruptive technology. Ultimately, the framework that we're using here is driven through our campaign-based approach, establishing joint ventures and pursuing acquisitions. In 2016 is when we launched the overall strategy, and our long-term objective was to develop our international growth through that strategy. We've made significant progress in a very short period of time, and overall this has increased the international share of our group revenues from 21% to 27% in that 2-year period, of which approximately 40% has come through our organic growth and 60% has come from our inorganic activity. We've completed 2 acquisitions in the period in my tenure, Meggitt Target Systems in December 2016 and Rubicon in Australia at the end of that year. This afternoon we will discuss both of these acquisitions, as well as our acquisition in Germany, which we expect to conclude shortly. So international growth is fundamental to our overall group strategy. As I've stated before, my long-term ambition is to grow the company to a 50-50 UK international mix by the next 5 to 10 years. And that's what we as a team are driving to achieve. So let me introduce the team that's leading this activity. Firstly, on your left-hand side, we have Ian Farley. Ian is the Managing Director of our overall international strategy. He joined the business in 2016 from Expro Group and will lead us through the presentation and Q&A on the overall international strategy. We then have Greg Barsby next to Ian. Greg leads our business in Australia. He joined the business in 2014 and joined us from KBR. And then finally, Jeff Yorts, here on your right. He joined the business in 2015 from Northrop Grumman, and he'll obviously lead us through the North American business. This is an excellent team. This is the team that's led the growth that you've seen in the last 2 years. I hope you enjoy the presentations, and we expect some lively questions. Thank you.